Hello and welcome to my review of 50/50, starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Seth Rogen, and Anna Kendrick. 50/50 centers on Adam, played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, as he discovers that he has a cancerous tumor in his spinal cord, which renders him with a 50/50 chance of living. And the rest of the movie is pretty much about him and the people around him coping with the situation. Honestly, I had kind of low expectations going into 50/50. I expected it to be just kind of a Seth Rogen type comedy, uncomfortably mixed with a more sensitive indie film. However, what I got was a really sensitive, tender, kind, wonderful film that I highly recommend you guys see. This is one of my favorite types of movies, which is just where you throw likable characters into a horrible situation and you just watch them deal with it in the most human way possible. And it's really fun to watch. And I know it's a pretty morbid thing to say about a film about cancer, but this is honestly one of the more enjoyable films I've seen in a little while. Mainly because of the performances. First off, Joseph Gordon-Levitt gives a very low-key yet wonderful performance as the leading man. Here's a guy who thinks he's going to lose his life. This is a guy who could very possibly die. And what you're seeing is him go through all the stages of a cancer patient. This guy must have done a whole lot of research to play this role, and it shows. He's very down-to-earth, and he really feels like a real guy. I didn't feel like I was ever watching Joseph Gordon-Levitt in this film. I just felt like I was watching a real person struggling with these issues, and I really got attached to his character. Seth Rogen is not quite as authentic as Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He's pretty much playing Seth Rogen, but I really liked his character because he was able to kind of downplay his Seth Rogenisms and create a very likable best friend to Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and he gets some of the biggest laughs in the film, obviously. Also, there's Bryce Dallas Howard recovering from her awful over-the-top performance in The Help, and Anjelica Huston, who's a bit over-the-top herself, but still very grounded and believable once you get to know her character. The other thing I love about this film, as I mentioned before, is just how human it is. There's not a single person on Earth who can't relate to the story of mortality. You know, this is a story about loving the people who are really there for you in a time of utter crisis, and it's a great story because it's just so well written. Never did I feel like I was watching a film with characters written as characters. These to me felt like real, honest-to-God people going through a real, honest-to-God situation. And unlike a lot of other indie-style films, and I know this isn't a super indie movie, I know this is a more mainstream movie with an indie style, it actually was able to convey the emotions of the characters through the performances and the plot and the dialogue as opposed to just imagery. And also, like, I just really felt for the characters in this film, which I don't normally do. Like, normally I'm kind of detached from characters in movies, but honestly, this film kind of had me choking up in some parts. And the other really human thing about it is that it really meshes the drama and the comedy perfectly. Normal people do deal with things through humor sometimes. In this film, there are no forced comedy set pieces where you think, oh, that was just written in to be funny. Everything serves the story and the characters to develop them and who they are as people. Even when Seth Rogen is just going off as Seth Rogen, it's to develop the personality that he is. And the comedy in here is absolutely hilarious. I don't normally laugh out loud in these films. In fact, I saw a film not 2 hours later called What's Your Number?, which was an intentional comedy, which wasn't near as funny as this movie, just because it wasn't as human. And I'll get to that on another video, but still, the comedy in this movie felt very real, and as such, I laughed throughout this entire film out loud. Overall, while not in the top tier, 50/50 is one of the best movies of the year. It's smart, it's well written, it's hilarious, it's sad, and above all, it's human. Great performances all around, and a great film. I give this 3.5 stars out of 4, and if you see any movie this weekend, I think it should be 50/50. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe, and until next time, I'm Movie Kid Mike, making sure your time is worth your money.